Welcome back to the channel, people. My name is DanIsStoned and it's time for another Imperator Rome tutorial video. This video will be a little bit different from the other tutorial guides I've done because this will not really be a guide. It's more of a tips and tricks video aiming to help you guys out with a few pointers which may or may not be known to you. All of this to try and make sure that you guys have the edge necessary to succeed in the bloody, backstabbing and highly political world that is the classical era. Before we start out, for those who are new to the channel, I advise you to check out my other tutorial videos if you have not done so yet. Not because I'm trying to get more views, even though I really wouldn't mind having a few more, but no, really, jokes aside, it's simply because some of the tips I give here may not seem very clear to you, especially if you are new to the game. Hence the reason why you should check out the other guides where I go over most subjects in detail so you can all get to grips with the core mechanics of the game. For those who want to check them out beforehand, I will put the links in the description below. And if you enjoyed them, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Anyway, now that long and possibly extremely boring intro is out of the way, let's dive right into the tips and tricks of Imperator Rome. The first tip I want to talk about is that of military experience. As most of you guys know, military experience is used to unlock the numerous traditions that vary depending on your culture group and grant diverse bonuses to your nation when unlocked. To generate said experience often takes time and can be quite frustrating. However, there is a fairly simple fix to this and it is quite often overlooked. That solution is the drill army button, an action that is quite easily forgotten and overlooked. Located on the top right of the army interface and represented by the arrow target icon, I'll just show an example on my Carthage game here. Just click on any given army and here you have the drill army button and you can see it's located with the arrows and target icon. This allows your armies to train and gain experience at the cost of increased maintenance to the T of 33%, so they cost 33% more to maintain, and increased loyalty chance towards the general in command. The higher your average experience of your armies, the more military experience you generate per month, thus increasing the speed at which you can unlock traditions. I will not go into detail about military experience here and army experience in general in this video. If you want to know more about that subject in detail, just go over and check out my military guide and the Cicero guide where I go over this in detail. No, really, it's not for the views. No. Really, it isn't. But anyway, just remember you need to make sure that you can afford to drill your armies because it does cost more money to maintain. Now that tip number 1 is out the way, time for tip number 2, and this will help you save a little bit of cash. When you have multiple armies and are at peace, don't put generals in charge of all your armies. Remember, generals cost wages and you pay them the privilege of commanding troops, and wages can be pretty hefty. If I show you here, for example on my Carthage playthrough, I'm pretty big and I'm making a decent amount of money, but you can see that wages cost me 72.03 gold per month. That's quite a bit. But now you're going to say, hey Dan, how can I make tip 1 work without generals? Well, it's quite simple really, just assign them to governors. You can do this by clicking on the Assign to Region button on the army interface, so just click any army. I'll just go to the governor army here I've got, and at the top here you can see there's an Assign to Region button. Just click on it and then you'll have the eagle to detach. Just click on the banner and it will assign it to the region. Governors, they count like generals, which means you can drill them. So you can basically just assign to the region, to the governor, and you can drill them. And you don't pay them any extra wages because the governors already have a wage, and therefore you're not putting an army, a general in charge of the army, and you're not paying him wages. So basically you have one man doing the job of 2 people. So governor and general. Remember, the less armies you have, the less wages you will pay. That's because you assign fewer generals. So having lots of small armies may not be the best solution, and having less but more competent and stronger armies for me seems to be the way to go. Just remember also that the human brain, yes, the human brain, is always smarter than the AI. We are some sort of supercomputer, everybody knows that, and with fewer troops, you can easily win wars just by outmaneuvering the AI. Just to quickly come back to the fact that one man doing the job of a governor and a general, you're probably going to go, well, what happens if my governor has really crap martial stats? Well, if you're getting ready to go to war with somebody, just take away from the control of the governor of the troops, so just take detach from region, and then just assign a decent commander, and then once you finish the war, just get rid of the commander and assign them back to the region. This brings us to tip number 3. Mostly after conquest, you may start to have unrest problems, which may lead to them pesky rebellions. To help with that, for each region I possess, I tend to make a small governor-controlled army in order to keep the local population under control. These small governor armies can also deal with potential barbarians that try to sack your land. But won't that cost a ton of money, might you ask? Well, not if you only use light troops. When I mean light troops, I mean archers, light infantry, and if you can afford it, light cav, since they cost peanuts. When I say peanuts, I mean literally peanuts. But it also means that it can actually use units that I find useless and that are really never actually useful in a fight, like light infantry and archers. I find them to be absolutely useless. So, eureka, we solved the problem. But anyway, just to show you guys an example of a governor army I like to make, I'll just go down here and go to the Mauritania governor. And you can see here that I have a light governor force made up of 5 archers, 5 light cav and 5 light infantry. As you can see, they cost 541 to maintain, so this is a 15k stack, and only 541 to maintain. Bear in mind that I do have the drill army in light enabled, so if I was to take that off drill army, it would only cost 3.98, which ain't too bad. And it does actually lower unrest, so just to see how much unrest it lowers, you just go down here and move it over the unrest bit here, and you can see governor local troops -4. Now don't let this quickly fool you, it's not this 115k stack that gets it down by 4, I have 2 in the same place. This is Mauritania governor number 2, and I have Mauritania governor number 1 as well. If I can actually find it, here it is, and that's over there. So them 2 together get it down by 4 the unrest. So basically each 15k stack of light infantry, of 5 light infantry, 5 light cav and 5 archers get the unrest down by 2. Obviously, you cannot put the same size stack of governor armies on any given playthrough. It all depends on your size. I mean, if you're a tiny 1, 2 or 3 province little territory, then of course you cannot maintain a 15k stack light army in order to keep the peace. So you might have to scale down depending on the size and the revenue you make. Moving on to tip number 4, which brings us to cultural assimilation and religious conversion. When you conquer new provinces, don't you ever wonder, how do I get my provinces to my religion and culture quickly, and in which order do you do it? Religious conversion first, or cultural assimilation first? Well, the first thing I would recommend is religious conversion first. Why? Well, because converting a pop that is not your religion or culture, you get a set of different negative modifiers. Here you're going to be thinking, well, if you're just going to give us negative modifiers, why are you telling us to convert first? Just bear with me here and I will show you exactly what I mean. I'm going to take, for example, a territory that is not of my state religion, which is Canaanite, because I'm Carthage, so I'll take something that's Hellenic, like Kentorippa here in Sicily. So I'll click on that, open up the view pop section, and here you have assimilation progress and conversion progress. I'm going to go over the negative modifiers first over each of them. So first the religious, then the assimilation one. And you'll probably start to understand where I'm coming from. Anyway, when I'm converting a pop that is not my religion or culture, I get a -25% conversion speed penalty because the dominant religion is not the state religion. In this case, the dominant religion of that territory is Hellenic and not Canaanite. I get another -10% because the dominant culture is not the state culture. Here it's Sicilian and not Punic. Punic being the state culture, Sicilian being the local culture of that particular territory. And I get another -20% because the said pop you're trying to convert is not of the Punic culture. That's a total of -55% to pop conversion speed. Just add up them red numbers, them red negative modifiers, and it adds up to 55%. I hope you guys are following me here. It might seem a bit confusing and complicated, but please bear with me. Now I'm going to show you guys the negative modifiers if you assimilate first. So same principle, just move your mouse cursor over the green bar with the assimilation progress is. And you would see that I get a -10% to pop assimilation speed because the dominant religion is not the state religion in the said territory. It is Hellenic, okay, instead of being the Canaanite religion, which is my state religion. I get a further -25% because the dominant culture is not the state culture. Just to see this, I'll just click on here and you can see it is of Sicilian culture, I think. It is Siculian culture. There you go, dominant culture, Siculian. So that gives me another -25%. And to add insult to injury, there is a whopping -33% because the pop you're trying to assimilate, is not of the dominant state religion. That's kind of like a massive punch to the face. That equates to a total of -68 to pop assimilation speed. Now, I am no math guru, but minus 55% sounds way better than minus 68%. Hence why I always convert first. Also, once the religious conversion is done, you lose the minus 33% because the pot is not of the state religion, and the minus 10% because the dominant religion is no longer the non-state religion. So basically it's no longer Hellenic and turned to Punic, which gets rid of the minus 10%, meaning that you only suffer from the minus 25% assimilation speed due to the dominant culture of said territory is not the state culture. Jesus, it feels like my head is about to explode, and I also feel like I finally understood the secrets of nuclear fission. Anyway, that aside, I really hope you guys understood that. It did get a little bit complicated. Anyway, moving on to tip number 5. A lot of people have been complaining that with the Levy update, you seem to run out of competent characters for your government, such as researchers and generals. Well, you can partially solve that problem by recruiting foreign nationals. To do this, all you need to do is befriend an individual in a foreign land and recruit him. All this can be done in the character interaction screen, accessible by right-clicking on the mouse button on any given character. Remember, to recruit a person, he has to be your friend, not hold any position in a country's government, and have lower than 70 loyalty. I'll just quickly show you guys an example. If I were to go to Macedon, for example, I click on the leader here, and no, sorry, wrong button. Click on the leader and, no, not on the leader, click on the country, I'm going to get there, and open up the family tree, okay, and then just go show characters, and just find anybody you like let's say I like this woman here. Right click on her portrait, make friends, then make sure she has loyalty below 70, and then there's a recruit button down here. You gain a bit of aggressive expansion for doing this, but it is worth it if you see some really decent characters you want to recruit. I generally do it for generals. I tend to find that I really have a shortage of generals at a certain point, so I do tend to scour the globe and try and find some really good generals and then recruit them, then of course grant them citizenship, and then I give them the position of general. And finally we have tip number 6, which is to be flexible with your national ideas. No, I didn't mean flexible like the gymnast you just saw. Besides, if I did that, my legs and my lower back would break and form a 90-degree angle. What I mean is, do not hesitate, depending on your situation, to swap out different national ideas. You don't always have to follow the said allocated idea types. For example, for an aristocratic republic like Carthage up here, I could select a civic idea like I've done here, like tax farming, and it would increase my cash in a tight spot, even though Carthage, as an aristocratic republic, does not have a civic slot allocated. Not enough people are flexible enough with ideas, and they can really help you out. I mean, alright, I will lose this tiny bonus here for some time, but I can always change them back and get that bonus when I want to. It's really does help you out of a tight spot. I mean, with this national slave output plus 20% through tax farming, you can see I have 60% of my pops in my realm are slaves, so my income is going to increase considerably. Honestly, don't be afraid to kind of not match national ideas. You can always do it later if you need that extra general bonus. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Of course, I cannot fit all the tips in one video, or it would feel like walking to the moon and back. I mean, it would feel really, really, really long. But I'll do another video anyway soon with some more tips and tricks for Imperator Rome. Hopefully this helped players, old and new, maybe discover a few new things. Anyways, thank you for joining me, people, and if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. Over and out!